3-Eye Atlas keeps revealing mysteries we never anticipated. Notice how something resembling a tail appears to be taking shape. The truth is, scientists can't quite explain why. At this very moment, an object weighing 73 trillion pounds is racing through our solar system at 124,000 miles per hour. And here's what should make you pause. It didn't originate here. When scientists analyzed its light signature, they discovered extreme negative polarization, a phenomenon we've never witnessed in any comet throughout history. Now consider this. The object's path aligned within just 5 degrees of Earth's orbital plane, passing remarkably close to Mars, with timing so mathematically precise that the odds are less than 1 in a million. This is no ordinary visitor. The object possesses considerable mass, and its trajectory follows the plane where our planets orbit the Sunday. Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb estimates there's a 30 to 40% probability that this isn't entirely a natural phenomenon. But here's where things become genuinely disturbing. During the recent government shutdown, NASA's data streams went completely dark exactly when this object made its nearest approach to Mars. 3-Eye Atlas has violated every principle we believed governed objects from beyond our solar system. So we begin to wonder, what if this object is artificial? What if it's been observing us? Think carefully about this. The most critical question we face is whether we're looking at technology or simply nature at work. With any luck, we'll understand more in the coming days. Here's what makes this even more profound. 3-Eye Atlas approached from precisely the direction where extraterrestrial observers could have detected Earth transiting across our Sunday. According to Loeb's calculations, any civilization positioned within a 10-degree cone from our ecliptic plane could have discovered our solar system using transit surveys, the exact method we use to find exoplanets. They would know precisely where our planets orbit and which one sustains life. This object's 5-degree alignment places it directly within that detection zone. Imagine this. If someone dispatched this probe after observing Earth, they've been watching our world for potentially thousands of years, waiting patiently for the perfect moment to arrive. If mysteries like this captivate your imagination, subscribe now. We're monitoring this object as events unfold in real time. For months now, people have been asking the same haunting questions about 3-Eye Atlas. The answers we're finding are far more unsettling than anyone expected. This interstellar traveler exhibits 7 documented anomalies that leave scientists searching for explanations. Unlike the cigar-shaped Oumuamua or the conventional comet Borisov, this defies every category we've created. Let's begin with perhaps the most disturbing revelation, its seemingly impossible mass. At over 73 trillion pounds, 3-Eye Atlas weighs roughly 6 million times more than SpaceX's Starship, currently our most powerful rocket. Harvard researchers arrived at this mass estimate after observing something extraordinary. Despite visible outgassing that creates a surrounding cloud, the object's trajectory remains virtually unchanged. Normally, when comets release gas, they get pushed around effortlessly, like a balloon releasing air. Not this one. What if the mass is so enormous that these powerful jets barely alter its course? This changes everything we thought we understood. Now here's where things become genuinely strange. Based on everything we understand about interstellar space density, there simply shouldn't be enough rocky material out there to deliver an object this massive into our inner solar system. Avi Loeb ran the calculations, and based on the known distribution of matter drifting between stars, we should have encountered hundreds of smaller objects before something this colossal ever arrived. We haven't seen them. As Loeb put it, there's not enough rocky material floating in interstellar space to deliver such a giant rock into our inner solar system over the past decade. So we begin to wonder, what does that tell us? The timing raises questions that are even more troubling. On October 3rd, 2025, 3I Atlas passed within 18 million miles of Mars, close enough for our rovers and orbiters to capture images with unprecedented clarity. The Perseverance rover recorded something moving across the Martian sky, a slanted streak that didn't match the normal trails left by stars. But here's what should make you pause. Just as this historic flyby was happening, numerous NASA websites and data feeds went completely silent because of the government shutdown. The timing seems remarkably convenient, precisely when scientists around the world were desperate for real-time information. What we managed to capture before the blackout is profoundly puzzling. The object appears stretched out more similar to Oumuamua than any typical rounded comet. It lacks the spectacular tail we'd expect from something this active. Instead, it's enveloped by a diffuse cloud of ionized gas that behaves unlike anything in our scientific databases. The chemical makeup adds yet another layer of mystery. Scientists detected cyanide and carbon monoxide, which aren't unusual for comets, but they also found evidence suggesting that the environment surrounding 3I Atlas resembles Mars-like conditions rather than the typical regions where comets form. This hints at something extraordinary. The object might have originated from a planetary surface, not from the frozen depths of space where comets are born. Even the object's behavior near the Sun defies what we'd expect. On September 25th, a coronal mass ejection, essentially a massive solar storm, struck 3I Atlas head-on. Scientists anticipated this blast of charged particles would dramatically transform the comet, perhaps even tear it apart. Follow-up observations on September 27th and October 2nd revealed nothing dramatic whatsoever. No fragmentation, no sudden tail erupting, just gradual expansion of its outer envelope. It's almost as if this object possesses more resilience than any natural comet has any right to have. Now here's what truly keeps scientists awake at night: the polarization anomaly. When sunlight reflects off dust particles surrounding comets, it creates a specific pattern we can measure with precision. Every single comet we've ever studied displays positive polarization at large viewing angles. 3I Atlas shows negative polarization at 2.77% at a phase angle of 6.4 degrees, more extreme than any comet in recorded history. This means the dust surrounding it is fundamentally different from anything existing in our solar system. Imagine this. The particles might be rougher, more irregular in shape, or composed of materials we've never encountered before. And then there's the trajectory itself, which tells its own compelling story. Unlike random debris drifting through space, 3I Atlas travels on a path aligned almost perfectly with our solar system's plane, where all the planets orbit. The probability of this occurring by pure chance is 0.00002, or roughly 1 inch 500. Now consider what happens next. It passed close to Mars, will pass near Jupiter on March 16, 2026, and arrived at precisely the right moment to encounter multiple planets. The combined probability of all these coincidences? Less than 1 inch a million. Think about this from an engineering standpoint for a moment. What if someone wanted to study multiple planets efficiently? You design a trajectory that stays close to the ecliptic plane. You'd carefully time your arrival to maximize encounters with as many planets as possible. That's exactly what 3I Atlas is doing. This object will pass within 33.5 million miles of Jupiter, close enough for detailed observations if it happens to carry any instruments on board. As Lowe points out, if this trajectory was engineered by extraterrestrial intelligence, the 5-degree inclination makes complete sense. It represents the optimal angle to observe transits of main belt asteroids, which have an opening angle of roughly 10 degrees above and below the ecliptic. But some scientists are proposing an even more extraordinary possibility. Dr. Suzanne Falsner suggests that objects like 3I Atlas might actually be planetary seeds. Her simulations demonstrate that massive interstellar objects falling into young solar systems could jumpstart the entire planet formation process. Instead of requiring millions of years to grow gradually from dust, planets could form rapidly around these ready-made cores. If this is true, some of Jupiter's mass might have originated from an ancient interstellar visitor eons ago. The speed represents another red flag we can't ignore. Currently racing at 37 kilometers per second relative to Mars, 3I Atlas will accelerate to 42 kilometers per second near the Sunday. That's 150,000 miles per hour, fast enough to circle our entire Earth in just 10 minutes. This speed isn't unusual for interstellar objects, but combined with its staggering mass, it represents tremendous kinetic energy. If this were artificial technology, it would represent capabilities far beyond anything humanity could ever achieve. The size estimates continue growing as we gather better data. Initial observations suggested something modest, perhaps a few hundred feet across. Now we're looking at a nucleus roughly 3 kilometers wide. That's 3 kilometers of solid material, not even counting the surrounding cloud of gas. For perspective, that's larger than the asteroid that exterminated the dinosaurs 65 million years ago. Imagine something the size of a small mountain flying through space at speeds that would cross the entire United States in under 2 minutes. European Space Agency spacecraft represent our last hope for definitive answers. While NASA went dark, ESA's Mars Express and ExoMars Trace Gas Orbiter continued their observations. The upcoming JUICE spacecraft will intercept 3I Atlas in November 2025, though data transmission delays mean we won't see results immediately. These observations could finally reveal whether this object possesses any unusual surface features or internal structures that shouldn't exist naturally. What makes this truly terrifying isn't any single anomaly by itself. It's the pattern emerging before our eyes. Every measurement we take pushes the boundaries of what should be naturally possible. The mass is too enormous, the composition too bizarre, the timing too perfect, the trajectory too mathematically precise. Scientists use the term black swan event for something so statistically unlikely it forces us to fundamentally reconsider our assumptions about reality. Avi Loeb states it bluntly: those insisting 3I Atlas is purely natural must somehow explain all 7 anomalies through natural processes alone. So far, no one has managed to do that. The object radiates light in ways that ordinary comets simply don't. Some researchers predict it might evaporate in a dramatic display or fragment into pieces near perihelion in late October. Others believe it might surprise us once again by staying completely intact. But here's the most unsettling possibility of all. What if 3I Atlas represents what Loeb calls a Trojan horse? Technology disguised as a natural object drifting through space. The perfect camouflage would be to appear almost like a comet, but not entirely. Just different enough that careful observation eventually reveals the truth, yet similar enough to avoid immediate detection when it first arrives. Consider the profound implications of this. If an advanced civilization wanted to study solar systems across the galaxy, what better method than sending probes designed to look like natural objects? They could gather data for millions of years while drifting silently between stars, occasionally passing through systems like ours to observe and record. The 5-degree orbital alignment would make complete sense if the probe was engineered to encounter multiple planets as efficiently as possible. The unusual resilience it showed against solar storms would be exactly what we'd expect from materials far more advanced than anything we've created. Now, we're not claiming 3I. Atlas is definitely artificial. The scientific consensus still leans toward natural origins, But the accumulation of these anomalies has reached a threshold where even conservative scientists are beginning to ask uncomfortable questions that challenge everything. This object is forcing us to seriously confront possibilities we've always dismissed as pure science fiction. As 3I Atlas approaches the Sun, time is running out to study it properly. By December 19, 2025, it will pass 167 million miles from Earth, our final good viewing opportunity before it vanishes forever into the vast darkness of interstellar space. Whatever secrets it carries within, we have only weeks remaining to uncover them. After that moment passes, it becomes just another mystery lost forever to the cosmic void. The universe just became significantly stranger and potentially far more crowded than we ever imagined. Whether 3I Atlas turns out to be natural or artificial, it's already shown us that interstellar visitors can be far more massive, far more complex, and infinitely more mysterious than we ever conceived possible. The next visitor might prove even more unusual than this one. And if this experience taught us anything of value, it's that we absolutely need to be prepared and watching. If this story opened your mind to the profound mysteries lurking right here in our solar system, like this, and subscribe for continuous updates as we track 3I Atlas toward the Sunday. Share your theory about what this object truly represents in the comments below, and share this with someone who believes space is boring. This will completely change how they see the universe.